Hi, I'm Andrew Stevenson, and in today's video I'm going to talk about what I think are the top 5 books that you should be selling in January. So number 1 on the list is appointment books. Now, appointment books are things that businesses use to store details of upcoming appointments. It's self-explanatory. Any business that schedules customers or clients, will find a book like this useful. The best strategy for these I've found is to make a generic interior. So for an appointments book, you want a section for each day. I like working in columns, so on the first page of a double page spread I'd have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in columns. On the second page, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then a section for notes. And then you divide each column into rows, which would be broken down by the hour. You can even break that down into 15-minute intervals. Do that all the way down the page for however many time slots you want to produce. And then you've got the interior that you can wrap a load of different covers around. Target different businesses with your covers. So hairdressers, mechanics, personal trainers, beauty parlours, dog groomers, anything that needs to make an appointment with the public would find an appointments book useful for the business, and that also means that they are all of your potential customers. So next on the list we have diaries/planners. So whereas with the appointment books we were targeting businesses, with diaries and planners you target more of the person. They might still be targeted at business people, but you're looking at the person rather than the business. There are basically 2 types of diary. The first one is a planner, an organiser, where the user will write in what they're doing that day, what time they need to be at certain places, if they've got any deadlines, do they have any tasks to do. It's a functional organiser, and that's the sort of word that you want to be targeting in your keywords. Functional, organiser, planner, to-do list. The second sort of diary is more along the lines of an emotional journal. That's probably the more common word used now. It's for people to record the thoughts and feelings. So in that sort of instance, you're going to want more writing space. In the previous example of the functional diary, you'd want rigid, structured time slots, say, that the person could use to write in their activities for the day. With an emotional planner, you really want to focus more on the writing space. Let the customer have as much space as they need to fill in. You might want to put some blank sections on the page, so half blank, half lined, so they can, if they want to doodle or something like that. So the emotional journal could include things like a dream journal, perhaps, a manifestation journal sort of thing, where people can write down their deepest desires. Number 3 on the list is a fitness tracker. Now, this is a really good thing to do at the beginning of the year when people are all, getting ready for the New Year's resolutions, and they're still, pretty good about keeping them. Keeping fit is one of the most common resolutions to have at this time of year. And basically a fitness tracker is a logbook that people use to write down their exercise. So times, weights, sets, repetitions, yoga poses, things like that. It's for people to keep a record, and then they can measure their improvement if there is any. And then you can niche this down to any sport or any exercise. So instead of just making a basic exercise tracker, you could make an exercise tracker for a cyclist, for a jogger, for a rower. Any sort of exercise you can think of, you can make a plan around it. And the beauty is, a lot of them will be really the same. If you're going a certain distance, whether it be on a bike or a jog, it's still going to be, distance travelled is going to be a major thing, calories burned, and that sort of thing. Another option you can do to make it slightly more interesting, it takes a bit more effort, but it's worth it, and that is to add actual exercises for the person to do. So if you are going to do a yoga, then have an area where the person can track how many, how much time they spent doing a yoga pose, but then also have a page where you are actually explaining the yoga pose and a little bit about it, what it does. The advantage of doing that is if you do enough of these sort of instructions in the book, it probably passes as a more of a medium to higher content book, and then you can release it as an ebook. Get a bit more money that way. So number 2 on the list is a finance tracker. These are logbooks that help people manage their money, and it's perfect for this time of year. People have generally overspent over the Christmas period, and they like starting off the new year with a pledge to be a bit more sensible with their money. And also, of course, the way things are in the world, people just need to be a bit more careful with their funds. So these books are a really good idea. So there are 2 types of finance tracker. One is for expenses. It's a place where the user would put in all of the outgoings, so bills, social things, eating out, drinking. They'd add them all into this finance tracker, and then they could see if there were any savings to be made by, instead of getting a coffee at the coffee shop, making your own and taking it to work with you. Things like that. The other one is a savings guide, and these books are things like savings challenges. So there's a sheet, and you basically save, say, £5 a week, and as you save your pennies and your pounds, you write them down in the tracker. Some of them are a bit more fancy with, instead of just having an empty table for you to fill in, there are pictures to colour in every time you save £1, colour in a picture of a cloud, or not that there's much colour in a cloud, perhaps a flower then. So you've got a visual representation of the money you've saved. So out of this one idea finance tracker, you could make 2 separate books, or you could make one that combines the 2. And again, have a niche there. So instead of just having a savings challenge, you could have something like a savings challenge to save X amount of pounds or dollars, or a savings challenge to buy a car, or to get a deposit for a house, or to buy a boat. The specificity is where you find your niche down audience. And finally, we have the prompt/guided journal. Now again, these are quite similar to diaries, but the difference is that you, as the creator of the book, guide the user as to how they fill it in. So something like a gratitude journal is a guided or prompt journal. Instead of the user writing down whatever comes into their mind, they answer specific prompts that you put in there, like, what are you thankful for? Who have you treated well? Who do you think you've annoyed? How would you do things differently if you could do them all again? And this kind of, obviously, it guides people to be more thankful and grateful and to think about their actions, but it also encourages the person to fill the book in regularly. If there's a blank page, some people get a little bit stressed about filling it, whereas you've done half of the work for them, really. They don't have to think about what to write because the prompt journal has prompted them. So a prompt journal, could be a gratitude journal, and again, niche the gratitude journal down to certain types of people. I know there's a lot of books aimed at men or women or children in the gratitude niche. Also in the prompted journal section are things like manifestation journals, where you guide the person to wish, is perhaps the wrong word, but you guide them to focus their mind on what they want to achieve, and then how they can achieve it and what they need to do to reach the targets. You can also have addiction recovery guided journals, so people can focus on the good things that they've done and recognise temptation. I've made a joke writing guide, which is a prompt journal. I also like the idea of using a prompt journal to get over writer's block, so putting in either the setup for jokes for people to finish off, or writing prompts that just kickstart people's creativity. I always think they're a good book for people to make. So that's it. They're the 5 that I wanted to talk about. There are of course many more, but yeah, 5 is enough for now. Remember, in the description of the video below, I've got links to how you can make all of these sorts of books. They are really easy, and with a little bit of effort you can make yours stand above the crowd. So that's it for today's video. Please do like, comment and subscribe. It really does help me out, and I am eternally grateful for everyone that does. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you again soon.